Morgan with an answer here, and today I'm going to show you how to make this balloon photo frame. It's a great addition for any party or event. I'll show you today not only how to make the frame, but the decorations you see on this as well. So follow along and I'll show you how to make it. To build the frame, I'm using 1-inch PVC pipe and fittings that I got at my local hardware store, and then use a PVC pipe cutter to cut them all to length. You can check out the cut list to the right or in the description box below. I've laid out all the pieces to make up one of the legs, and starting with the 4-foot piece, I'm going to attach the 90-degree angle to the top, and then to that, put the T fitting on it and attach it to the 3-foot piece. And you want to make sure that T fitting and the 90-degree angle are facing the same direction. Then put the other T fitting and the 1-foot and 2-foot piece on the bottom, and you've got one of the legs. So I'm going to repeat this on the second side, so I've got 2 matching legs, and then I'm going to put my 5-foot lengths into that T-fitting and the 90-degree bend at the very top, and that'll secure everything together. Now I'm not using any glue in this project so that I can pull this frame apart and store it really easily. Now that the frame is ready to go, make sure that you add weights to the bottom. You don't want this tipping over if someone bumps into it while taking their photo. To decorate this frame, I'm going to be covering it in some 260Q balloons. So I'll be using 32 of these long balloons in 2 different colors, so 16 whites and 16 reds. And I'm just going to go ahead and inflate all of those so there's only about 1 inch of tail uninflated on the end, and that's going to give us a little bit of tying room once you start adding them to the frame. So make sure you've got that little bit of gap on the end. Burp the balloon so it's nice and soft and tie it off. And then I'm going to go over the entire balloon and squeeze it and loosen it up a little bit, and that's just going to soften the latex and make it a lot easier to twist a little later on. So go ahead and inflate all of those balloons, and then we're going to start tying them into pairs. So I'm going to take 2 of the same color and just take the nozzles of each end and tie those into a pair. I'm going to repeat this for my white ones as well, and once I've got everything into pairs, it's time to put them into quads. Using 1 pair of each color, I'm going to put them together so all the nozzles touch, and then twist 1 balloon from each of those pairs together, and that will lock them together into quads. Now I can start adding the balloons to the frame. So I'm going to take my first quad and place it so that the nozzles are right against the pipe of the PVC, and take 2 of those balloons, wrapping it around the frame and twisting them together, and that will secure this quad to the frame and it won't twist and turn on us as we make our spirals. Next, I'm going to take 2 of those 260s and snugly wrap them around each other so I get this tight spiral, and then secure them at the top of that spiral just by twisting them together. Then in the same direction as that spiral, you're going to wrap it around the PVC pipe and secure it at the top just by making a couple of knots with the remaining tails around the PVC pipe. And you do want to make sure you get those tied really snugly to the pipe, or the tension of the balloons could slowly untwist our spirals. So then I'm just going to continue bringing up the other 2 balloons in the gaps in that spiral and tying them in the exact same way. I found that when wrapped around the PVC pipe, my 260s gave me about 36 inches in twisted length. So for my frame, my horizontal bar here is 5 feet across, and I've marked the center point, and I'm tying off the ends of my balloons at that halfway point and starting a new spiral right there, and that will allow me to hide my seams right in the center instead of it being off-centered or asymmetrical. Speaking of asymmetrical, you notice that my balloons on the left and right side of my frames are off-centered from each other, and I specifically chose to do an asymmetrical side design. You could always center these balloons on the side poles and just make the corner pieces a little bit bigger to hide the gaps, or you could make those 4-foot poles 3 foot in size for a shorter photo frame. If you need to transport this design for a party setup in a different location, you could always build this design up to this point and then pull all the pieces of PVC apart with the twists already on the pipes, transport them in your vehicle as these pieces, and then you can reassemble them just like this with that part already done. So once you get to your party site, all you have to do is add the balloons to hide the seams. Hiding any gaps in the frame and any seams is the next step for us. So I'm going to be inflating some 5-inch balloons to 4 pumps each. Once all the 5-inch balloons are inflated, I'm going to tie those into pairs by taking the nozzles of 2 different balloons and tying them securely together. Then I'm going to take another pair and put the nozzles right against each other and twist 2 of those balloons together. Add a 3rd pair in the same way so that all the nozzles touch, bring it around, twist them together, and this is going to give us a set of 6. So when I flatten the back, it should look like a 5-petaled flower. To to hide the seams on the frame, we're going to take 2 of these flowers and put one on the front and one on the back, and taking a balloon from the top of each of these, we're going to twist those 2 balloons together really snugly, and this is going to lock these flowers around the frame. Now we don't have to worry about twisting one on the bottom as well, because there'll be enough tension just between these 2 balloons to hold everything in place. So once you've got those twisted together, you may need to come back and rearrange your balloons a little bit so you can see that 5-petaled flower again on the front and the back. Here's what it should look like once you've got it attached. You can see the 5 petals of the flower with those top 2 petals twisted together between the front and the back. And we'll repeat this for all of the corners of the frame as well as the top and bottom center of the frame. Now I do want to show you the corners that I've done a little bit of asymmetrical business on, because it's going to require a few more balloons. So I'm going to repeat the same thing I did as in the center, but I'm going to add an extra pair to that to level out the top of my flower, and then I'm going to add 2 more quads on top of that just by putting them around the frame and twisting 2 balloons together, and that will lock all those balloons into place. Finally, I'm going to take some 11-inch red balloons, and using my sizer box, which I've got a link above if you'd like to make one for yourself, I'll be sizing 8 balloons to 10 inches and 8 balloons to 8 inches. First, I'm just going to fully inflate that balloon and then put it right up against the hole in the sizer box of the size that I'd like it to be, and slowly let air out until that balloon just fits through the circle. I'm then going to tie that off into a pair, so twist it around twice and then tie those 2 nozzles together, and then take 2 pairs and twist them together until you've got a quad. So I'll have 2 10-inch quads and 2 8-inch quads, and I'm just going to slip those around the base of my frame and then layer the 8-inch quad right on top of it, and that'll give a really finished look to the feet of our photo frame. I hope you were inspired by today's video and give this a try. There's so many different ways you could decorate this frame to fit your theme for your next party or event. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button and subscribe below. I'd love to have you join my creative community as I do all kinds of party setups, balloon tutorials, and how-tos to make sure your event is a success. So until the next time, you can check out some of the videos over here. And remember, stay creative. Bye!